Welcome back to this mini-series about everything you need to know about moving to Berlin. In the first two episodes, we covered why you need to move to Berlin now, how to find a place to live in Berlin. Put the links to those in the box below, so go and watch them afterwards if you like. But this is Ben in Berlin, how to find a place to work in Berlin. At the moment, if you're from the UK, you can come over here and start looking for a place to work. But after the end of 2020, that might be a lot more difficult to do. And that's because of the Brexit withdrawal agreement and the end of the transition period. So in the post-Brexit world, you'll likely need to have a job offer or a student offer before you come here to Berlin. So this video is more for those who are coming to Berlin and then searching for a job, but is hopefully of interest for anyone here in Berlin and looking to find a place to work. As always, leave comments below on your thoughts on finding a job in Berlin, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to be the first to watch all videos about Berlin. Towards the end of this video, I'll share some tips on how you can improve your chances of finding a place to work in Berlin. So keep watching to discover what those could be. Right, so find a job in Berlin, everything you need to know about moving to Berlin mini-series. Let's go. What kind of job in Berlin? Berlin isn't for everyone in terms of work. It certainly appeals to creatives who thrive in the unusual conditions we have here in Berlin. But for those wanting to fly up the corporate ladder or earn the highest salaries, perhaps Berlin isn't quite right for you. And so maybe you should look elsewhere and maybe question what you want from life. I'm only joking. If that's your dream, you go for it and don't let anyone stop you on your path. Berlin is full of creative startups and successfully built or funded companies. There is some choice, but you are competing with lots of other great talent. If you like fast-paced, small team environments, there are plenty to choose from in Berlin. You just have to find them. If you ask which jobs are plentiful in Berlin, these are the top ones. Healthcare and biotech, media and creative, especially publishing, fashion and advertising, transport and logistics, and service. Right, so now you have an idea of what kind of industry or area you want to work in. So where to look for a job in Berlin? Online. The top ones are stepzone.de, monster.de, indeed.de, LinkedIn and Xing, and also berlinstartupjobs.com. And there are many others too. Me, and I work in marketing and communications, I found LinkedIn to be the most successful platform and also one of the easiest in terms of applying for jobs. On any platform like that, make sure you have a standout profile and include everything, even part-time and volunteering jobs. If you can add images, videos, anything that shows your success and your achievements, do it. Ask former colleagues or connections for recommendations or reviews. They can write there what it was like to work with you, what your character is like, and make your profile stand out. Make that profile picture sweet too. Xing is the German version of LinkedIn, and I've had no success with that platform, but it could work for you. And also don't forget, you can contact recruiters who specialize in your field or industry for support. It's a great question. Do I need German to work in Berlin? In short, no you don't. I worked both on a contract and self-employed as a freelancer with Just Beginners German. When you search for jobs, look at the JD, the job description, and see what they require. International focused companies or companies looking to target an English-speaking market may not require a German speaker. So what do I need when applying for a job in Berlin? Well, the usual suspects of a great CV and cover letter to begin with. Research the company a bit. See how your skills and experiences match the role that you're applying for. So in the CV, you should do things like this. Focus on what you achieved rather than what you did. Sometimes the employer may ask you to complete a task, so do this as best as you can and in a timely manner as well. Now the big thing about Berlin is don't be put off when you don't hear back from companies. Some companies get sent hundreds of CVs and it'd be brilliant if they could reply to everyone, but they simply don't have the time. Sometimes it can take weeks to hear back from a job which you think you're really suitable to do. It may feel slower compared to other cities in the speed that they get back to you by. And also don't be surprised when you hear back more than a year after applying. I had this at the moment. I'm hearing back from companies where I applied this time last summer. Jobs often go to someone who knows someone, so do be mindful of that. And don't hate the game, just play it well. If you know someone that works for the company that you want to work for, reach out to them. It is, for better or worse, about who you know. Also, a big tip for your CV, when you apply for jobs in Berlin, include your headshot, a photo of yourself on your CV. Now, for some of the older businesses, they might want to see a smart looking professional. But for some of the creative startups, they might want to see more of your personality. Either way, make sure you include a standout picture of yourself. So interviews for jobs in Berlin. You already know these, but a quick recap. Be on time, research the business in advance, have questions ready. What do you personally enjoy about the working culture in the company where you work? Now, their reply often gives away what it's really like to work in that company. Oh, well, we sometimes have drinks on a Friday. That translates as a company that does not have fun. A long silent pause, not a good sign. They've either never thought about it or have a workplace environment that doesn't encourage internal reflection. We recently went on a cool stand-up paddle experience on the River Spree. That sounds like a really cool company. That's a good question, but what do you enjoy most about company culture? That's their attempt to deflect from the answer. This is a big warning sign. Either they don't trust you or they don't want to lie. Leave, get out now, reverse, get away. Working freelance in Berlin. Can you work freelance in Berlin? Yes, of course you can. You just need to do a few things differently than if you were employed. Berlin has the highest percentage of self-employed people in Germany, so they're very used to the setup. I've done both. I became a freelance tour guide, and then about a week after was offered a role in marketing communications, which I accepted, but then on a part-time basis, because I just started the freelancing role. So I actually worked Monday to Thursday in the office in marketing communications, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday as a tour guide. So that's right, folks, for nearly 6 months, I worked every day of the week until COVID-19 changed things. It was great fun, and I learned so much about Berlin that I hope to share with you guys in these videos. I am always learning, and I hope I can share some of this learning with you. But let's run through freelance. You have to tell the Finanzamt, the local tax office, that you're going to work freelance. You do this because you'll need a tax number, a Steuer number, which will then include on your invoices. This is different to your tax identification number that you would have got from your Anmeldung, your Steuer Identifikationsnummer. Having health insurance, Krankenkasse, is mandatory in Germany. And as a self-employed person, you'll need to choose yourself if you are freelance, a business owner, or a tradesperson. And then depending on what you pick, that'll impact what kind of insurance cover you'll need to get. The cost of your insurance will depend on your income. I'm no expert in this area, so go online and look for all the blogs that write about this. I was lucky that someone in the family could help me with this for my first year. As a freelancer, you'll also need to sort out your taxes. And again, I recommend seeking expert advice in this area. But my tip from the very beginning is use an online bookkeeping program to monitor your invoices and expenses. Plus, don't forget, keep all those receipts, because even if you just bought a jumper, you may wear that jumper to work, if you get me. Okay, some tips on finding a place to work in Berlin. I used to use Google Docs and therefore Google Drive to share lots of my CVs and cover letters. I now know that several employers don't actually like this process, and that's just from the ones I heard back from. So just in advance, best to send PDFs. There is a newsletter that I like to call buluhu.com. Probably isn't pronounced like that, but they send out weekly emails all about finding a place to rent in Berlin, finding a place to work in Berlin, and then hobbies and interests. I'll put a link for it in the box below. I even found a flat we rented briefly when we first came to Berlin from that newsletter. And also groups where I've made friends, which we'll cover in the next video, making friends in Berlin, everything you need to know about moving to Berlin. Another tip, create an online portfolio. Even if you're not a creative, having an online portfolio is a great way of showcasing what you have achieved in your career, or even what you've achieved working for NGOs or charities as well. Again, it goes back to that point of you're trying to do whatever you can to make your profile stand out. So websites where you can do your online portfolio, I just did mine on Microsoft Word, and within that included videos I've directed, books and magazines I've published, all this kind of stuff. And last but not least, be adventurous. When I applied to become a freelance tour guide, I actually had no experience doing that apart from taking my friends on little private tours around London. But I thought, why not? I love history, I love sharing stories, I'll give it a go. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself and try something new. Okay folks, that's episode 3 done. In the mini-series, everything you need to know about moving to Berlin, and this episode, how to find a place to work in Berlin. Show some love and leave a like. Comment on your thoughts on trying to find work in Berlin. And last but most importantly, subscribe to be part of the Ben in Berlin gang. Cheers.